Yes. But to take you back to King James, Kevin Durant is a great player, right? But what we saw from Kevin Durant in Game 5 is all that we've expected LeBron James to do wherever he's gone.
263, hometown chilling, steaks I'm grilling, melanin dripping, smoking I'm trippy, the hookah, the shorty with the big ass twerking, got the city on lock. Genie be top of pockets, making video thought, turn your wife into a hoe, I done seen it a lot, and you ain't got no money, Uncle Phil hit the dot, blah blah hit the spot.
The 2021 NBA Finals are finally here. Hello and welcome to another episode of the First Two Show. I'm Adrian, and like you always, I'm with my man, Junior. Junior, what's up, man?
What's good, bro? Are you excited?
No, to be honest, no.
Why? What's that?
My teams, the teams that are baking did not make it this far. I'm gonna watch it purely as a sports fan, but then as a neutral, so it takes away the emotions for me. But I'm pretty sure we're going to get a great final series this year. It's going to be a historic one. It's going. Let's see how it goes. So let's get right into it. This year's finals will be contested by the Phoenix Suns and the Milwaukee Bucks. The Suns led by possibly one of the best point guards ever in Chris Paul.
The point volume.
The point guard, definitely. An emerging superstar. Can I still say emerging in Devin Booker, or is he already a superstar?
I think he's already a superstar, bro.
The superstar player in Devin Booker and the likes of Jay Crowder that have showed up and played a blend of a season versus the Milwaukee Bucks, led by the Greek freak himself, Giannis Antetokounmpo. I hope I got that right.
Yes, I forgot that.
From now on, I'm going to say Giannis. I'm going forward. Chris Middleton and people like Brook Lopez that have shown and led the Bucks throughout the series. Junior, how are the playoffs and what's your take on the finals?
The playoffs have been really good, because like you're saying, like you said earlier on, actually, this, I'm not so sure if anyone had predicted that these were going to be the last two teams, but this year, the playoffs have been decided by injuries or as some would say, health, not taking anything away from the Bucks or the Suns. But, if we look at teams' paths, starting with the Suns against the Lakers, the injuries to AD and the King, played a big role in the Suns advancing, to eventually reaching the NBA Finals. But not taking away them, they've been a really good team. They've been balanced. And one other thing, they've been really playing like a team. Obviously in the great leader that they have in Chris Paul, showing the kids, the so-called kids, the DeAndre Aytons, the Devin Booker's, the way. Then they also have good experience in Jay Crowder as well, along with CP3.
Yeah.
So coupled with, good fortune in terms of the injuries to the teams that they faced. I feel that has been a contributing factor to them reaching the finals. Same thing applies to the Bucks as well. I know they swept the Heat, but then, when they played against Brooklyn, nobody really gave them a chance. As long as the Nets big three were there. And even I myself didn't give them a chance. As long as the big three were going to be fit, I really don't think that the Bucks had a chance, But once Kyrie and James Harden got injured, it became more of a contest and the playing field was a bit more even now. So I think both teams, injuries played a big role in them advancing to the NBA Finals. So yeah.
Definitely. And on that note, let me take you through the Suns and Bucks, their pathway to the NBA Finals. Firstly, we have to know that the Suns and the Bucks, they had a good regular season. The Suns came second. And on that note, Junior, let me take you through the pathway that both of those teams took towards their route to the finals. Firstly, we have to note that those two teams had an excellent regular seasons. The Suns were second in the West with a 51-21 record. Only the Jazz had a better record. And the Bucks were third in the East with a 48-24 record. So already we can see that going to the playoffs, they had a good record. But in NBA, a good regular season does not always mean a good postseason. You know, so
like like the great Gilliman always says, you know, no one really pays attention to the regular season.
Yeah.
You know, the postseason is when, you know, the coaches in their backs as well as the players show who's the greatest and who's not. So yeah, you can go on.
Definitely. So we could see that the strong teams, that good leaders, that the coaches were doing well. Monty Williams for the Suns, Mike Badenhauser for the Bucks. So after postseason, the Suns faced the Lakers, King James.
Yes.
And they beat an injury ridden Lakers 4-2. AD was in and out. King James too was in and out. And just with the Lakers were disappointing throughout the season. Taking into consideration the injuries, but then the team, the other members didn't really show up for me. The Dennis Schroeders, Kate, Kyle Kuzma. Yeah, they didn't really show up. But anyway, moving on. The Lakers, last year's champions, were beaten in the first round. In the conference semis,
Sorry,
yeah.
Leave the Lakers. Like I was saying earlier on, you know, I feel like in as much as the Suns won, you know, we just got it, and so that had the Lakers been fit and been healthy, you know, I don't think the Suns would stand a chance, you know, because for the two games that they had AD and AD actually turned up and King James turned up, they won them easily, you know.
Yeah,
There's only got injured, and you also know that King James, coming off the back of his 18th season, you know, in his 36th, going on to his 37th year, you know, he's no longer the player that he was maybe 4 or 5 years ago. Definitely. Still a good player, but you know, he's no longer that kind of player who can carry a franchise on his back like he used to do in Cleveland or anything, you know. So that would be asking too much of him. So had the Lakers been fit, I think the Suns would stand no chance. But all credit to the Suns, they managed to get the job done, and they went on and played the Nuggets. You were about to talk about the Nuggets, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, the Nuggets were swept, surprisingly. With the MVP in their team. But like you said, maybe it's because it was the regular season MVP. I don't know. But then they were swept 4-0. The Suns advanced onto the finals where they faced the Clippers with Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. Paul George got injured, and ultimately Clippers lost 4-2 in the
Kawhi got injured.
Yeah, Kawhi got injured. Sorry, Kawhi got injured, and the Clippers lost 4-2. Paul George, I feel like he turned up. He tried his best, you know, tried to remove the chip on his shoulder of, you know, playoff George and not showing up. This time he impressed me. Unfortunately, it was just not enough to carry the Clippers to the finals, man. And moving on to the East.
Just to say, I totally agree with you. You know, I know, you know, I feel like it's a scapegoat whenever the Clippers don't play so well. Whenever he doesn't turn up, you know, we also pandemic that. But I feel like how I got injured. You know, we saw the Paul George of old, the one that we saw with the Indiana Pacers. You know, definitely the superstar. He really tried, but because like we've been saying, the Suns are a very good team, and doing it alone was a bit too much for a bit too much to ask of him, actually. So I feel like he tried, he just came up a bit short.
Definitely. Moving on to the East now. The Bucks.
Swept aside.
Yeah, the third in the regular season. Good team. Swept last year finalists in the Heat. I actually had the Heat as my dark horse to go on because they pretty much retained much of their roster. They ended Victor Oladipo. Unfortunately, he was injured. But then they just did not show up to the postseason this year. They were swept first round.
Jimmy Butler as well as Tyler, the guys who showed up in the Bible didn't really show up, especially the Jimmy Butler, that's the star of the franchise.
Yeah.
I was actually surprised that they couldn't get one game off the Bucks. They got swept.
Nothing.
I didn't.
Nothing swept. So the Bucks swept the Heat in the first round. In the second round, what a matchup, man! They faced the Brooklyn Nets with the big three, possibly the best superstar frontline three right now in the NBA, man. With the team, KD, Kyrie Irving, another good point guard, James Harden. I like the guy when he was with Rockets, man. Anyway, moving on. It's what under the bridge now. He done did us dirty out there in Houston. But then, it was a good matchup. KD carried the team. It was good coming off.
He didn't really carry the team, Adrian. I don't think that he carried the team
in the series.
Here's my take.
Yeah,
James Harden was it the second or the third game?
Yeah.
Or was it? Then they lost Kyrie.
Yeah.
As soon as they lost Kyrie, right? Then the Bucks won 2 games. Was it 2 games or something like that? I don't really remember. Right? Then the very, very crucial game, I think it was getting into game 5. That's when KD had to carry the team. And rightly so, he did. All credit to him. He had a 49 points, 17 rebounds, and 10 assists or something like that. Yes.
Yeah.
But to take you back to King James, Kevin Durant is a great player, right? But what we saw from Kevin Durant in game 5 is all that we've expected LeBron James to do wherever he's gone, maybe except for the Heat. But in his first spell in Cleveland, that's what we expected him to do throughout the playoffs, not just for 2 games or 3 games, but throughout the playoffs, right? Same thing when he returned to Cleveland. That's the load that we've always placed on King James back, So I feel like it's a bit unfair, when people start saying, oh, KD did this, KD did that. Yes, all credit to him. He had a 49 point triple-double. But, when you look at LeBron James, that's all we've always asked him to do, right? And if LeBron James was in that very same scenario and he came up short with the goods, even though he had a 48-point game 7, people would be criticizing, not looking at what he did for the other 2 games. But I feel like the playing field was a bit more level now, given the injuries. Because I feel like Kevin Durant, in as much as he's a great player, he's always had a very good supporting cast around him, to make it a little bit easier for him and to make him concentrate on what he's supposed to do. It's not his fault, but I feel like he's had it a little bit easier in comparison to guys like, King James, or even James Harden in Houston as well. What do you want to say?
Where do I begin, Junior? I'm not saying KD is the GOAT. He might be in the conversation, but ultimately he's not. Okay, fine.
No, he's not in the conversation.
What? Okay.
In the GOAT conversation.
Okay, so what conversation? In the great players conversation is there, but it's not in the GOAT conversation?
He players conversation, without a doubt.
Yeah.
You'll probably end top 10 NBA best players of all time.
Okay, fine.
That's what I think. But in the GOATs debate, he's not even, in my opinion. I feel like the other 2's games are a bit more rounded. The thing that, that undermines Kevin Durant, and it's not his fault, it's his supporting cast.
But everyone had a supporting cast. Jordan had Pippen. LeBron, LeBron had Wade.
This is already turning in. argument. But okay, let's go on with it, right?
Yeah.
Kevin Durant. Let's look at the team that he had around him in Oakland with Golden State, right? He had Stephen Curry, the two-time MVP, two-time reigning
Oh,
MVP.
wait, let's start with Oklahoma, right? Oklahoma
Yes.
had Harden, had Russell Westbrook too. Yeah.
Exactly. Yes. I was actually going to go back to OKC, right?
Yeah.
But wait, here's my point. Okay, let's start off at OKC. He had that good supporting cast in Russ. Then, yes, I know James Harden left a bit earlier, but still, that was good enough a supporting cast. Then, if you look at should have been 2015 finals or 2016 finals. It should have been, yes, 2016, the final season before he left.
Yeah.
Right? He had a 3-1 lead up against the Warriors. Then he blew it. He blew it against the very same team that LeBron James went on to beat, right? Then he got his crew now with Stephen Curry, the Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, Andre Iguodala. Once he joined that 73, was it 73 or 72? I'm not so sure. It should have been 73.
Yeah.
Yes. Once he joined that 73 win team, everyone knew that team was going to be unbeatable because already Kevin Durant was in the top 2 best players in the world conversation. It was him and LeBron. That was the debate.
It was top 3. Well, Steph was always in the conversation.
Definitely stood top 5. I don't know about top 3, but definitely top 5.
Okay, fine. Top 5 maybe. Yeah.
Exactly. So once you have that kind of crew around you, it's difficult for you to say, oh, I won a very difficult championship or anything. And the way that the Warriors play, with the snipers that they have in their team, in Klay and Steph, it opens up the spaces for people like KD. Even KD himself is a sniper, So I feel like in Golden State, he had it a bit easier in comparison to the other greats. And he can defend if he wants to, but if you look at what LeBron James has always been asked to do, where in whichever team is joined, you cannot compare the two. I'm really, really sorry. You really can't.
I wasn't really going to compare the two. My point was, the way we started was how he handled the series. I feel like he played well when the Bucks faced the Nets, especially coming off the back of his injury that sidelined him for was it a year and a half?
The Achilles injury, yeah.
Yeah, and he came back. The people that were around him were not fit. Kyrie was not fit. James Harden wasn't fit. He played the game 6 and 7, if I'm not mistaken, but then he wasn't 100% fit.
Playing on one leg, yeah.
Yeah. So for me, he did well. Okay, maybe it's double standards. We expect much from LeBron, but there is the same reason why you have this shit on your wall. Is because you're supposed to give us more because it's LeBron.
The one and true king.
I don't know if Jordan would like to hear that. Wait, will the good conversation some other day? Yeah. Let's just focus on the finals for now. Moving on. Let's look at the KD and the okay series against the Bucks. Unfortunately, they lost. Okay, we agree. We agree, right?
I think it's actually good. Yeah, good to great, but I don't care. They lost.
Okay, fine. Moving on in the conference final, the Bucks, they faced the Atlanta Hawks, led by young, Trae Young, a young but very good Trae Young, one for the future, definitely one for the future. He's only going to get better. But the 1-4-2, I just feel like Trae and the Hawks were a little bit overconfident.
You think so?
Yeah, with the shimmies and stuff. You don't do that. You don't do that when you study in the cities, unless if you're LeBron or Steph. You just don't shimmy. Now he's out. Yeah, but then they were rightfully confident, they had a good season. They beat the 76ers. They were doing well.
The Knicks even.
Yeah, they beat Julius Randle, the Knicks even, yeah. So, yeah, they had a good season. Unfortunately, they lost to the Bucks in the conference final. So yeah, I feel like it's rightly posed to be a good series. It's going to be great. Is the Suns' first NBA Finals in over 30 years, and it's the Bucks' first final appearance since 1974.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, so the both franchises have a lot to play for. I'm sure the fans are ecstatic, and it's going to be a memorable season for whoever is going to win it, because it's a lot. It's going to be the first finals without in what 10 years or so without Steph or LeBron. It's going to be the first finals without Cleveland Heat, Spurs, or Golden Warriors team in a long time. It's good to have the monopoly has been broken, and it's going to be nice. Let's see how it pans out. So what's your prediction? Who do you see clinching the NBA title this year?
Before I go on to do my prediction, I feel like I just need to say this. The NBA playoffs, right, is one typical scenario where we see the coaches earn their money. I feel like the NBA playoffs are all about the coaches, because it's all coaches and their adjustments. I know the Clippers and Ty Lue are out, but he's one typical example of a manager who can make the adjustments. See went wrong, for example, in game 1 or in game 2, make those adjustments and make your team, adjust to the opponent. Where basketball is really, really difficult is you need to win 4 games in each series. So, so big, it all comes down to the roster.
Okay.
What I've been seeing from the Suns, they've got the right balance. They've got the experience, they've got the energy, and they've got the youth. And the players, the young players, Devin Booker, we were discussing whether or not he's already a star. He's a star already, bro. Even DeAndre Ayton, he's showing why he was a number 1 pick.
Yeah.
Then they've got shooting as well. They've got long range, mid range, everything, which I think will be one of the Bucks' biggest problems. The Bucks just don't have mid range. I was taking a look at the statistics for this NBA playoffs.
Yeah.
The one playoffs, and I think in the top 10, the Suns have got 2 or 3 players with the best percentage as far as the mid range is concerned. Then, just as the Bucks, just when we look at the Bucks, they only have Chris Middleton.
Okay.
Great player. I'm not so sure if he's going to come back for game 1 and game 2.
Yeah,
he doesn't have a mid.
Yeah, he doesn't. He attacks more of the rim.
Exactly. He goes to the basket. So I feel like the Suns have a little bit more, but if the Greek Freak manages to come back right in time, you never know. We might just get to game 7.
And if all the players stay out, like you said, it's been a playoffs that's been entirely affected or influenced by the health of the players, right? So let's. I'm pretty sure both teams wouldn't want to lose anyone at this moment. Hopefully for the Bucks, Giannis makes it back. The focus say he might come back for game 3 or so. He'll surely miss game 1 and game 2. Maybe game 3 will be back. They need him as soon as possible. Of course, they have Chris Middleton, they have Brook Lopez. Maybe they'll lead the team from up front, but they're definitely going to need the star player in Giannis. I won't say his name, in Giannis. They'll need Giannis to come back, and they'll need him to come back fit and ready to take on the Suns.
Yeah, Linders, yeah.
So is this you saying the Suns were going to take it? And if they take it, by how many games?
I was really rooting for Giannis this time around. He's a 2-time regular season MVP, and like him as a player. I thought that this was his time, but injuries, they've played a big role in these playoffs. So, but I'd also want to see CP3 finally get a ring.
Yeah, man, 16 years later.
Exactly, he's one of the greats of the game, not just at the point guard position, but he's one of the greats of the game. He's a good leader as well. you know. So
good sportsman too.
Yeah, he's a very good sportsman. So I think the Suns will clinch it in 6. That's my prediction.
Clinch it to 6. I have it as going. I want to see it going to game 7. You know, it's better when the series goes to game 7. Gives us fans a bit more to anticipate. So I also have the Suns. I also have the Suns purely or solely because I think it's time that Chris CP3 gets the ring, man. 16 years later, he's gave everything to the game. He's, showed up for every team that he's played for, from New Orleans to the Rockets to OKC and now the Suns. I feel like it's time that this could be his time. And I really hope that, he wins it this year. So I have the Suns to win it in 7 games. That's my prediction.
All right. Okay. Well, just one other thing about CP3. We've been hearing from all the players around the Suns camp. Especially DeAndre Ayton as well as Devin Booker. Saying that CP3 has been the best thing to happen to their careers. He's such a great leader, and Monty Williams as well. He's been a very good coach, managing to keep the entire roster happy. Even the way that the team has been playing, they've been playing as a team. There's been no one standout player. Everyone has been putting in their CP3, Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton, Jay Crowder as well with the experience. So yeah, I just think that the Suns will have a little bit too much for this Bucks team, especially considering that Giannis won't be around for the first couple of games.
Definitely. Anyway, it's been a pleasure like usual. It's the first time reviewing basketball. What we've done justice to the NBA finals. And we hope you guys liked it and to get the conversation rolling. As usual, we just want to keep the conversation going. We want to keep you guys engaged with us. I know some basketball heads will be quite critical. Some of the mistakes that we made or the information that we left out, please, we are open to suggestions, and we'll be reviewing as the series goes on. We hope to give you great content. And with that, Junior, my man, it's always a pleasure. Huh?
Cheers, Adrian. Take it easy.
Good night.
Hometown chillin'.